Yeah, let me just do this. Good morning, everyone. Apologies for being late. There was a slight technical problem, but I hope everyone is well and happy. I've been seeing some of your comments since 10 to 9. I've been seeing some of your comments since 10 to 9. I've been also seeing that some of you are very active using the chat, which is a good thing, it's good that we're able to use the chat so that now I know that if I require an answer or I want to communicate with you guys, I'll use the chat. Yeah. And yeah, let me introduce myself. I am Chiponosio Longwe. I am the new teacher for grade 5 maths. Yeah, I'm the new teacher for grade 5 maths. And it's good that we meet each other on the first day of the month of June. It's wonderful that we meet each other on the first day of the month of June. It's also beautiful that we had some time. I got some time to see how you guys interact, especially with the chat. So it's a nice thing. So then the rules are still the same as always, that your videos must be off. And if I ask a question, I will be the ones to unmute you. Once I unmute you, then you can respond. Today, what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be looking at revision. So we're going to be doing a lot of revision lessons of what we have done so far, so that we'll be able to go into term 3 without anything being left behind or being unclear. Especially since it is grade 5, you are supposed to be able to have a strong base. So I just wanted to start with something that has more procedure in it, such as your multiplication, and then tomorrow we're going to start doing division. So it has more procedure in it. Procedure meaning that it involves more of seeing that I can move from this part, then I can do this, then I can do that, then I can do that. Like in long division, when you divide, then you multiply, then you subtract, then you bring down. So right now, what our focus will be is that we're looking at more of a procedure, right? We're looking more at procedure and how do we go through it? Are we able to start from the question, go right down to the answer? That's what's very important. And one thing that is very important is understanding. So one thing I will beg you guys to do, and this is from me begging you, is that please, when we are doing the sums, stay away from the calculator. That's the first thing. Second thing that I also need you guys to do is to try them out yourselves. Why? It's good that if we have time within the lessons to practice, you can be able to ask questions of saying that maybe you don't know why do we have, like, if, for example, if we're looking at 20 multiplied by 33, then there's a part where when you multiply by 30, we would have to put a 0 first as a placeholder before we move from right to left. So such things would need that you would practice the sums yourselves in the lesson. And once you practice them, then we can move on. But I hope everyone is having a wonderful morning. I hope everyone is having a pleasant day. For me, it's a bit upside down, but I hope that going through the lesson, we are going to interact and enjoy the time we have. Here is the way to contact me. I prefer it's either you go through Twitter or my email address. Anyone that works for you is fine with me. Whether you can go through the Twitter and then direct message me to say, sir, I have a problem with 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can go through email and then you just drop me an email and it works. Both of them work perfectly for me because I get to interact with you and I get to see that if you're not understanding something, how do we work together for you guys to get to understand that thing? Because what is important is understanding and getting the skill. Why? Because maths is a skill. So once you have it forever. Once you're able to multiply, you'll be able to multiply forever. Though you'll never ever meet a time whereby you will struggle to multiply. Even if you are 155 years old, if you're able to multiply starting now, maybe I can take that most of you are 11 or 10 years old, you'll be able to do the same what you're doing right now when you're 155 years old. Maybe you won't be as fast, but the answer, you'll get it quicker with your mind, because remember, the answers we actually calculate here mostly. That's why if we write it down, it's actually helping our brain to see it as something than us just using our minds automatically. But once you have it written down, your brain is able to see, okay, there's a two, there's a what, there's a what, there's a what, for you to actually use the skill. But let us start with the lesson. So we're looking at vertical multiplication, right? Now, when we look at multiplication, what is multiplication? Multiplication is when you take one number and add it together many times. So multiplication, in other words, is also what we'd call repeated addition. That's why we call it times. If you're looking at 5 multiplied by 4, we're calling it times. Why? Because you are adding it together many times. Like if 5 times 4, and you're saying 5 times 4, it means it's going to be 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, which is what? 20. Right. So that is what multiplication is. And multiplication, all right, this is one thing I wanted to speak about, the times table. This thing, you guys, you must have it. It's very easy. You can go online, look for a times table. Here we're looking at from 1 to 10. I prefer that you guys use from 1 to 12, because 1 to 12, then you've covered most of the ones that are important. But let's move on. So in multiplication, you have three things. You've got the multiplicate, the multiplier, and the product. Product is the result of multiplication. So the answer is our product. Then the multiplicate is the number being multiplied. The multiplier is the number that is multiplying the multiplicate. Now, here is something that you must know. These two can be switched around. I'm going a bit quick because we did waste some time, so I'm being a bit fast. But these two, especially when you're looking at the multiplicate, let me do this so it doesn't move around. If we're looking at the multiplicate and the multiply, they're able to switch around. What do I mean? That if we were to say 3 times 5. 3 times 5 and 5 times 3 gives us both the same answer. 3 times 5 and 5 times 3 give us both the same answer. Right. But the difference is here. When we're looking at method, you'd use something else. For example, here I'll be doing 5 plus 5 plus 5. So it'll be 5 3 times. And here I'll be doing 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, which would be 3 5 times. But they give us the same answer. What is important here is to know that they give us the same answer. They give us the same product. Right. So let's go for an example. I've got 6 times 5. 6 times 5, I can go 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, which is 30. Why I say 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Right. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. That is 6 times 5. Right. Then there's another method where I say, okay, let me try and see how it works. So I say what? 6 times 1 is what? 6. Doesn't work out. 6 times 2 is what? 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. So there's one way where you would know your times tables, because you'd be able to you'd be able to go higher. Because remember, when we're working with multiplication, guys, we use multiples. What are multiples? It's when you're adding a number many times, and it's the result of a number being added multiple times. For example, if I say a multiple of 6, it's 6, 12. Remember, multiples increase, they go higher, but it's always just me going plus 6, plus 6, plus 6, plus 6, plus 6, plus 6, plus 6. So always in multiplication, you'll be using, you'll be always trying to find, how may I say, the multiple of that number, or that number being multiplied by those number of times. Are we together? You understand? That's what's important. That's what's important. And right. So that's what's important. That we use, what we're using is that we're looking at that specific number being multiplied a number of times. Right. Let me keep to time. So let me go to the example that I would want you guys to have down in your books. I hope you guys have books. Right. So let us go through this one together. Let us go through this one together. I hope you guys have books with you. Normally I would give time for you guys to get books, in case, sometimes you go on and you don't make sure that you have a book with you. Right. So guys, when we're doing multiplication in this method, right, here are things that I'd like you guys to jot down. There are 3 things that are very important. It's place value, right? Number 1, it's place value. Number 2, it's using that one number to multiply. Like, for example, if I am saying, because we're moving from, make sure also you write it in this, we're always moving from right to left. We're always moving from right to left. So one thing is important is place value and moving from right to left. You have those 2 with you. Now, in this step, if we're looking at 82 times 79, we know that we start here with the 9. And here, here in the first place, because it's 9, we don't have a placeholder. Right. We don't place a placeholder. Why? It's 9. 9 is a unit. Remember, in place value, you've got hundreds, you've got tens, you've got units. Right. Yes, there are more that go further than 100. But right now, just so that we don't have to mention all of them, because they go onwards, let's just say, okay, we've got hundreds, we've got tens, we've got units. And each one has its own placeholder. For example, I'm speaking about the part of place value. In the part of place value, you've got hundreds, right? You've got tens, you've got units. Whenever I'm multiplying with the units, I will never put, like for example, a 9. I'll never put a placeholder. But if I'm going to multiply with the tens, I'm going to have 0 as a placeholder. What is a placeholder? It makes sure that whatever answer you get, you did multiply it in the sense of the tens place. 100, when I use 100, placeholder is what? 0, 0. Why? 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 Because whatever you multiply must be in the hundreds place. Now let me show you what I mean. What is 8? 8 times 2 is 18, right? Then I say, okay, 18 carry 1. So I put the digit, because here we're always going to be placing digits. 8 times 2 is 18, carry 1. No, not 8, not 8 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18, carry 1. 9 times 8 is what? 9 times 8 is 72. Right? 9 times 8 is 72. Plus 1 is 73. So I put here 7, 3. There was no placeholder because it's a 9. Now I'm going to the 7. Right? I'm going to my friend here over here, Mr. 70. Mr. 70 here, sorry, 70 over here has what? It's 70. Oh, sorry. Forgot to put something very, 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 very important. Mr. 70 here, but this will be towards the end. Mr. 70 over here is 70. It's 70. It's not 7, it's 70. So what I do, I put a 0 first as a what? As a placeholder. To say, can you please, for the current moment, just hold the place of this y? Because if you don't put a 0 here as a placeholder, you're going to end up saying that, oh, my final answer will just be 738 plus 574, which is not true. Because this is 70. It's now going into the thousands. So I put a 0 here as a placeholder, this 0, because I'm multiplying with the tens, something in the tens place. Right. Then we go on. 7 times 2 is what? 14. Carry 1. Yeah, it's what? It's 14. Then I say what? Carry 1. 7 times 8 is what? 56. Plus 1 is 57. Then I have it here as 5,740. When I add them together, I get 6,478, which is my answer here. Which is what? My answer here. Now, I'm still keeping to time. Which is my answer here. Why? Because 8 plus 8 is, 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 4 is 7. Right, it's fine. 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 4 is 7. And then what? 7 plus 7 is 14. 4 carry 1. There'd be a 1 here. Then 1 plus 5 is 6. That's fine. It's perfect. Our answer is correct. Now, if we see that why we have the placeholder, right? The placeholder makes sure that we have 5,740. We add them together, we get 6,478. We come here. Why did I write this out? This is just this expanded. So when I was saying 9 times 2 is 18, I wrote the 18. Then now I say 9 times 80. Why? Because if I'm expanding it, I have to make sure that one important thing is that you need to make sure that you respect the part about it having what? A place. Because it's not just 8 and 2 as digits, it's 82. So you need to make sure that the place value, it's always respected, it's always there, it's always considered, it always has it always, how can I put this? I know the word in, okay. It always finds a place in the whole sum to say that because remember that when we look at it, it's 82 times 79. So whenever you're going to be multiplying, you're saying that you are not just an 8, you are 82. So if I was to expand it, I'm saying 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 80 is what? 720. Or a nice trick, very nice trick but guys, be careful when you use the trick. I was going to say 9 times 8 is 72. Then this 0, I just put it there at my answer. You understand? But for those that might find it a bit difficult, you can still say 9 times 80 is 720. Same part here, that I'm multiplying with a 70. So I'm respecting the place value part about it. And multiplying with a 70, I say this 2 here multiplied by 70 is what? 140. This 80 multiplied by 70 is 5,600. Then you add everything together. Once you add everything together, you get 6,478. But this part here is quicker than this one. It is quicker than this one. But what is important is that you know your timetables. I'll give you guys a quick 2 minutes to write this one, and then we're going to try out one example. I'm going to allow you guys to try out one example. Then we'll go over this because I don't want our time to go away, so I'll just give you guys a quick 2 minutes to write this down. I do know that some of you do record. I heard that you can screen record, which is fantastic. The 2 minutes have started for you guys to write this down. All of this, please. Make sure you write down all of this. So I do know that some of you guys do screen record. That's perfect. Some of you do screenshot. That's perfect. But if you are old-fashioned, or not say, let me say not old-fashioned, but if you're still using a part where maybe you're watching it on a screen or something, then you can write down. It's still perfect writing down. You have 2 minutes to write everything down. Right. So I do know that some do screen record, some do some do a what's this? Some do screenshot, so you can write this down. But what's important here, guys, is the part about place value. Place value is very important here. So always place value, using place value as or let me say, always considering the place value part is very important. That's one important part about multiplication, the entire process of multiplication. Place value, place value, place value, place value, place value. Place value. So that's why most of the time, most of the parts here, for you to understand this, you must understand, okay, what am I multiplying with? In this part here, we consider what? Placeholder, putting a 0. Here, what do we consider? We're multiplying with the actual number. We're multiplying with the actual number. So we are multiplying because it's 9 multiplied by the 2 multiplied by the 80. Here, it's 70 multiplied by, let's say it's the 2 multiplied by 70, 80 multiplied by 70. That's how it works. That's how it works. So let us try out one question together. And then after trying out that out together, and then after that, I show up your homework. After we show up the homework, we close for the day. We close for the day. Let's see this. Change. Yeah. Please try this one out. I'll give you guys about 3 minutes to do it. Please try this one out. You'll have 3 minutes to do it. Please, guys, our lesson must end at 9:45. It must end at 9:45. So you guys can be also early for your next lessons. So at 9:45, we must end. So I've given you guys 3 minutes to try this one out. Please stay away from a calculator. Please stay away from the calculator. Please. And remember, place value. What is very important here is place value. Why? Place value, you keep the, yes, here's the word, you keep the integrity of the number. So you make sure that when I'm multiplying here, if I have to multiply with 50, I'm multiplying with the 50. If I'm multiplying with a 10, I'm multiplying with the 10. If I'm multiplying with the 20, I'm multiplying with the 20. So you're keeping the part about place value, it's very important. That's why if you don't understand place value, then please speak to me. Please do speak to me. If you don't understand the part about place value, please speak to me. But here we go. Yeah, here we go. 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 So please, guys, place value, place value, place value, place value, place value. Right. And please, guys, do tell me privately, or you can tell me on the chat to say, you know, because I'm going to allow for questions towards the end, as I normally do. So please try this question out. Place value also. Please consider the place value part. What's important is place.
I don't understand.
Hello?
I don't understand so much, sir.
Right, no problem. I'll help you.
Okay, sir.
Awesome. All right, so we have one who doesn't understand. I'll try and I'll explain when we do the corrections of this answer, of this question. Right, you have 30 seconds left. You have 30 seconds left. I'm going to try
That's actually
and
don't understand.
all right. All right. So, right, 10 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Let me try and see what we can do. All right. So, guys, listen very carefully. Let me break this down for you so that you don't get confused. Right. Look, let me break this down. Right. This is the method that we use. We're moving from right to left, right? So that I can clear it up for everyone. We're moving from right to left, right? From right to left. From the right-hand side to the left-hand side, right? That's the first thing you must look at. Second thing you must look at is that when you're multiplying, are you multiplying with a unit, a 10, or 100? Are you multiplying with a unit, a 10, or 100? Let's start. It's 5. This is 5, so it's a unit, right? Meaning that here, when I'm writing down my answers, I'm not going to put 0 as a placeholder. Right, let's see. 5 times 6 is what? It is 30, right? So I put down my 0, and then I carry 3. 5 times 6 again is what? 30. Plus 3 is what? 33. I put down my 3. I carry what? 3. 5 times 1, you'd say 1. 5 times 1 is what? 5. Plus 3 is what? 8. So my final answer is what? 830. 830. This is the first one. This is the first one. Let me clear that up for you guys. Let me clear that up for you. That's the first one. Okay. Then we have our first part, the 830. The next part, what we do, because this right here, our friend over here, this friend of ours over here is 50. He's not 5, he's 50. 50. 50. We had to put 0 as a placeholder. Meaning, whatever numbers that we're going to put here were basically multiplied by a number which belongs to the 10th place. So we're putting a 0 as a placeholder so that I don't find myself, how do I say this? I don't find myself adding as if I was just multiplying the number by a simple 5. I'm actually multiplying with a 50. Please follow with me. Please follow with me. Let me respect time. Please follow with me. Then I say that, sorry, I say that now I have, so now I was working with what? A 50. I go on. I say, it's important always to remove these because when you're doing a double digit, I say the 50, or I would say 5, not to confuse yourselves. The 5 here multiplied by 6 is what? It's 30. But it's what? It's 30. But I put a 0 after the placeholder I've placed. After the placeholder, I put a 0. I carry what? 3. Right. So it's what? 5 times 6 is what? 30. Put the 3. 5 times 6 again. It's 30 plus 3 is 33. So I put the 3. Then I carry over the 3 again. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. So it's 800, it's 8,300. Why, what made it look, because look, also it's 55, right? It's both numbers are the same, both digits are the same. But what is important here is that here I was multiplying with the 5. Here I was multiplying with the 50. That's why I have my placeholder. Then I just add the top with the bottom. 0 plus 0 is 0. 3 plus 0 is 3. 8 plus 3 is what? 11, carry 1. It's 11, carry 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9,130. So what's important here, guys, is that you're moving from right to left. But what I'm going to do to make sure that we're very clear, I am going to repeat this lesson. I'm not going to repeat this lesson, but I'm going to now go more in detail tomorrow with the lesson tomorrow again on multiplication. We're going to do division, but we'll put that on hold so that you guys, because one thing I want you guys to do is that I want you guys to leave understanding. So once you have an understanding, then I'm comfortable enough to know that you guys are fine. But please go over this lesson again and look. Here we've got it as the one that we would call it the vertical method. It doesn't really expand the numbers, but look at when we expand the numbers. Look at when we consider the place values as well. How does it get the answers? Because what's important here, what brings the confusion is when you're multiplying either a 5 with a 50, or you're multiplying a 5 with a 100, or you're multiplying a 5 with 1,000. Once you get this thing correct, you are able to understand. But let me show you your homework quickly so that, yeah, here is your homework. This is your homework. I would use this as practice, right? Use this as practice for tomorrow. Then tomorrow, we're going to again do multiplication, and I'm going to expand again some more on other things as well so that we are more clear, so that I can have you guys more clear. But here is your homework, guys. Please, please do practice. I am begging you to practice. I am super begging you guys to practice. Practice so that you can understand. If you are not very clear, write down questions also for tomorrow's lesson. Write down questions, see where you're not understanding, note it down, right? And then we're going to repeat it again until you guys are very clear on it. And then we'll do the division for Wednesday and Thursday. Because once we understand the multiplication more clearly, then we can do the division for Wednesday and Thursday. But that is it for me. Thank you guys for attending the lesson. Thank you guys for being super students. And I have to leave now because my time is up. Love you all.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.